You're not cursed. You're not unlucky. You're just afraid. Afraid to start. Afraid to fail. Afraid to discover that if you truly gave everything you had and still didn't make it, there'd be no one left to blame but yourself. That's the uncomfortable truth most people spend their entire lives running from. We invent stories about bad luck and fate not because they're true, but because they protect us. They protect us from responsibility. They protect us from seeing how much of our life we've wasted waiting for permission to begin. Part 1. The comfort of bad luck. Think about how often you've said, "I just haven't been lucky." It feels innocent, but every time you say it, you hand over your power. The idea of bad luck functions like emotional armor. It shields you from pain by convincing you that life's outcomes are random, that effort doesn't matter, that the universe simply didn't pick you. But the truth? The universe isn't picking anyone. It's indifferent. It doesn't care who wins or loses, who rises or falls. And that's not cruelty. That's freedom. Because indifference means you're free to create whatever you dare to pursue. What keeps most people trapped isn't destiny. It's fear. Fear of responsibility. Fear of seeing their own reflection without the excuse of fate standing in the way. Part 2. The slave mindset. Nietzsche called this the slave morality, a mindset that gives power to invisible forces instead of taking it back. It's the belief that something out there, luck, society, the algorithm, the system, controls everything. Sound familiar? You'll hear it everywhere. The job market is impossible. The algorithm hates me. No one supports people like me. Maybe there's some truth in it, but that truth doesn't help you. It keeps you safe and small. It justifies inaction. Because if everything is stacked against you, you don't have to try. You don't have to fail. You can sit in the comfort of being a victim and still feel morally superior to those who dared and fell. Part 3. The fear of real freedom. Here's the paradox. Most people say they want freedom, but few can handle it. Because real freedom doesn't come with guarantees. It comes with weight. To be free means this: if your life doesn't change, it's on you. If your dream stays a dream, it's on you. If you fall short, there's no one left to blame. And that's why people would rather cling to excuses. It's easier to say, "I was unlucky in love," than to admit you keep chasing people who reflect your own insecurity. It's easier to say, "I never get opportunities," than to face how many you've rejected out of fear of not being ready. So you hide behind luck, behind timing, behind destiny, all to avoid the most terrifying question of all. What if I tried my hardest and it still wasn't enough? But the Stoics and Nietzsche would answer, then you'd finally know. And that knowledge, though painful, is the beginning of power. Part 4. Radical responsibility. Radical responsibility is the line between the victim and the creator. When you stop asking why me and start asking what now, something inside you changes. You begin to see that every obstacle is just raw material, clay that can either bury you or build you, depending on what you do with it. That's what Nietzsche meant when he spoke of Amor Fati, the love of one's fate. To love fate doesn't mean surrendering. It means embracing every scar, every wrong turn, every humiliation as part of your creation story. The victim says, "This shouldn't have happened." The creator says, "It did, and I'll use it." This is where your evolution begins. Part 5. The universe doesn't care, and that's beautiful. Many people find comfort in believing that the universe has a plan. But think about what that belief really means. It means you're waiting for orders. You're waiting for life to tell you when to move. Nietzsche and the Stoics both rejected that. They saw the indifference of the universe not as despair, but as liberation. Because if nothing is written, then everything can be written. Life doesn't owe you meaning. But that's not sad, it's sacred. It means the meaning of your life is whatever you choose to build. You can spend years waiting for signs, or you can become the sign. You can wait for destiny, or you can decide your direction. The indifference of the world is not a curse. It's an invitation. Part 6. The Death of Excuses. At some point, every person reaches a breaking moment. The collapse of excuses. When you realize there's no more algorithm to blame, no parents, no past, no trauma, no government. Just you, your consciousness, and your choices. That's when the transformation begins. To create the life you want, you must kill the old story, the one that told you you're unlucky, unworthy, or too late. That story has kept you safe, but it's also kept you small. You can't write a new chapter while clutching the old book. The moment you let it go, the author in you awakens. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. But don't mistake this for comfort. Creation is brutal. It demands risk, humility, and the courage to fail without excuses. It means standing alone with no promises, only possibility. That's why Nietzsche said the path to greatness always begins in the abyss, because only when everything falls apart can something truly yours be built. Part 7. From victim to creator. If you're still waiting for a perfect moment, it won't come. If you're still hoping for luck, it won't arrive. If you're still looking for permission, you already have it. The world doesn't need another spectator. It needs another creator. Every choice you make today either reinforces your old narrative or builds a new one. Every excuse strengthens the cage. Every act of courage bends the bars. Stop saying you're unlucky. Start saying, I'm responsible. Because the moment you accept that truth, you take back control from everything outside you. Luck, fate, the past, people, and fear. That's the moment you stop surviving and start living. If this message shook something inside you, good. It was meant to. Because awakening isn't supposed to feel comfortable, it's supposed to burn. Now the question is, what will you do with that fire? If you're ready to take that step, to think deeper, act stronger, and reclaim your power, then subscribe to Stoic philosophy. This channel isn't about motivation, it's about transformation. Every video here will challenge the illusions that keep you weak and guide you toward the calm, unshakable strength of a Stoic mind. So hit subscribe, comment, I choose control, and remind yourself, you were never unlucky. You were just waiting to realize how powerful you actually are.